Welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint, where the truth always matters. I'm your host Charlie, the country conservative, and co-host Brendan, from the Brendan Statler Show. We are your source for conservative news. Now on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint. I'm your host Charlie, the country conservative.
And I'm Brendan Statler of the Brendan Statler Show.
And tonight we're diving headfirst into the heart of conservatism. Buckle up, because we're about to explore ideas that challenge the status quo, celebrate tradition, and champion individual liberty. So good evening, my fellow Americans. As we gather around the digital hearth, let us remember that conservatism isn't merely a political ideology. It's a timeless philosophy rooted into the bedrock of our nation. It is the belief that the past informs our present, and that our wisdom of ancestors guides our future. Imagine, if you will, a grand library, an archive of human experience. It shall sag under the weight of volumes written by thinkers, visionaries, and statesmen. Here, Edmund Burke whispers to Russell Kirk, and Frederick Hayek nods to William F. Buckley Jr. Conservatism is the guardian of tradition, not out of blind adherence, but out of reverence for what works. It's the belief that institutions, whether than family, faith, and free markets, they have weathered storms and emerged stronger. We don't discord them, we polish their brass plaques. Tonight we'll explore the unyielding pillars of conservatism, liberty, the flame that flickers in the founders' inkwells. It is the right to speak, worship, and bear arms, the very oxygen of democracy. Responsibility, not just for ourselves, but for our neighbors. We don't see, can doubt, we extend a helping hand. Stewardship, the land, the Constitution, and our shared heritage they entrusted to us. We are stewards, not squatters. Prudence, the compass that steers us away from reckless utopianism. We build bridges, not castles in the air. So, my friends, let's raise our virtual goblets to enduring flame and conservatism. Let's debate, dissect, and discover. And remember, the past isn't a prison, it's a lighthouse guiding us through tempest. Welcome back, everyone, from probably what was a long weekend for some of you, but I hope you enjoyed the weekend. Well, we got a hell of a show for you guys tonight, but we are going to decide here. We've got Trump doing an interview with Sean Hannity.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes peeled for that right now, actually.
Brendan's trying to find it because
I got Hannity's show up. It just hasn't started yet, the interview, so I do have it.
Okay, so I think we're going to go and just bypass the show for tonight and watch the whole interview with them and see what they're going to be talking about tonight.
Yeah. I don't know why he hasn't opened it up already. I'm surprised.
Yeah, that's strange for him.
It still says
usually they have things going. How's everyone doing tonight? I see everyone and the Wimpkin Warriors coming in there. I see Kurt, Rowdy, Pat. Hi, Pat. Lee. That's me. How's everyone doing tonight? There's Vix. How you doing?
All right, while we're waiting on this, Charlie, I'm going to make sure that this is going to work first. So let's test this out here real quick.
Yeah. I think you've shared screen before. I can't remember, but I'm still going to look here too. If I can find Hannity, there he is. Well, yeah, but that's under somebody else. And he is started.
Whoops, shit. Is that the only one that gives
7, 8. That's today. He's saying that's
okay. Can you see Hannity now?
Yep, I see a black screen.
Just a black screen?
Yep.
Really?
Yep, that's all I see.
That don't make no goddamn sense.
Nope. Let me try this again.
Here, let me stop sharing.
Yes. Yes. There it is. All right.
There.
Now let's get this up and see what he's talking about. If he's not going to talk about Trump or do the thing, we'll come back right away. So we'll see what's going on.
A couple of weeks ago, they attacked the special counsel, Robert Hur, because he dared to refer to Biden as an elderly man with a poor memory who was asking questions like, was I still vice president in 2009? And now Joe Biden's weaponized Department of Justice is refusing to let you see the Hur interview and decide for yourself. Well, that is the DOJ's campaign contribution to Joe and a cover-up of monumental and historic proportions. This is bad for our country. Meanwhile, I was attacked repeatedly, called a conspiracy theorist for pointing out the obvious, the transparent truth about Joe Biden's cognitive state. They have been lying and covering up for Joe in what has been a coordinated effort to beat Donald Trump at any and all costs. They told the world that Biden was as sharp as ever. He gets more done in an hour than most of you accomplish in a single day. It's one huge lie. And every American has been betrayed by this and this cover-up. And the country has suffered needlessly from the radical policies implemented by this new Green Deal radical socialist Marxist party, all supported by state-run media and the mob. But now finally the truth has started to emerge from the left, not out of concern for Biden or the country, but because they fear they're going to lose to Donald Trump. The polls, they don't look good for Joe. Recent survey taken after Joe's disastrous debate shows Donald Trump up by 15 points in Arizona. That same poll has Trump up by 5 in Pennsylvania, 4 in Michigan. Trump is ahead in every battleground state in the country and is up by several points in multiple nationwide polls. But by the way, now Democrats, the media, they're trying to humiliate Biden, force him out of this race. And that's why we're seeing bombshell reports like this one from ABC, quote, Parkinson's expert visited White House 8 times in 8 months, met with Biden's doctor. And this story from Axios detailing the tremendous effort needed just to get Joe on a stage. Not only do staffers help guide the president in person, but apparently they also print out big pictures for Joe, showing him the exact path to get to the podium and the stage, given simple step-by-step instructions in huge font, like walk to podium. Actually says that. But anyway, we continue. One staffer working at a fundraiser told Axios, quote, it surprised me that a seasoned political pro like the president would need detailed verbal and visual instructions on how to enter and exit a room. But it gets worse. This week, our suspicions were confirmed. It appears the White House, the Biden campaign, is in the habit of feeding pre-approved questions to so-called journalists ahead of their interviews. At least 2 radio hosts now have come.
All right, now he's talking about stuff that I don't know if you guys want to hear it or not, but the less we have to hear from Hannity, the better. And as soon as we see them start the interview, we'll go with it. But there's Alfred. Alfred, welcome. America needs military tribunals and public executions for treason and murder for Washington, D.C. politicians and their aides, and the lying media and corrupt judges and bureaucrats. God bless America. God, Trump. And exactly right. They definitely need those tribunals back because we've had so much treasonous activity happen in the past almost 4 years and nothing get done about it. And look what the Republicans do. I mean, me and Brendan have been talking about this for months. And what do? Nothing. Hold hearings and do nothing else. And like you guys, we were talking on Gary's show, The American Rebellion, about what was I going with this?
The fact that they have not yet arrested Merrick Garland, and
Right.
it should have been done. Should have been done a month ago.
and they did nothing about Joe Biden and all of his activities and bullshit. So that's a very good point, Alfred, you made there. It needs to be done because you can't depend on the Republicans to do anything.
Nope, not at all.
So we're going to keep an eye on this, and sure the hell don't want to listen to that demented old fool that's on now, because they got Joe Biden on there now, and they said it was in Harrisburg on Sunday. That son of a bitch is.
Yeah, he had Gavin Newsom out campaigning for him somewhere here in Pennsylvania. I forget where they were at exactly. I don't know if it was Harrisburg or where it was, but yeah, I wish Hannity would have started this interview right away. Like,
Yeah, he should have started it. That's more important than this son of a bitch.
Yeah, Hannity makes my head hurt anyway. I've never been a fan of Sean Hannity. I think he's a hack, but you know, that's a topic for another show.
Yeah. Well, if we get to it or not, I mean, if we don't get to what I had planned today, that's fine. I will put it off. But tomorrow's show is going to be about them throwing Joe Biden under the bus. So I may just put that, still keep with that, and put this one off until Wednesday. And we'll see what that happens, depending on what Hannity gets off his ass and starts doing stuff. But we'll see what happens. Jill was in North Carolina today. Oh my God. She guarantees she is running this whole damn thing. She is the one that's making him stay in this race. Not him. He don't have a clue of what day it is. So you know he's not making the decisions up.
No. I wonder if Biden's probably in bed now too.
Oh, but yeah, because he said the other day he can't make it past 8 o'clock.
No, and this is the guy with the nuclear codes and who at least has the title of president. I mean, this is why our nation is a joke around the rest of the world.
What's that guy's name? Brett Bart? Oh, that's on before Ingram. How do you say it? Barrett?
Yeah.
He had, I think it was him. Well, he had some doctor. I think it was him that had the doctors on today that said that they were talking about that Biden said he's no good after 8 o'clock. And the guy says, well, what the hell happens if something horrible happens to our country and it's midnight? What the hell happens then? They said that he cannot be just a partial president. He's got to be a 24/7 president. If he can't do that, he's got to get out.
You have to be. That's everybody, because it is a 24/7 job. You know,
right.
That's what everybody I just got a text from someone saying Hannity will do a 20-minute montage leading up to the before he does the interview, which is probably right, because nobody I don't know how people even watch his show. I mean, you watch one Sean Hannity show, you've watched them all. I mean, they really are the same. I guess that's how he gets people to watch. He'll book people like Trump, and then he'll talk for the first half hour about what he talked about the previous 52 shows. And, you know,
yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, well, let's see what he's saying right now here.
Donald J. Trump, straight ahead.
Yep.
On a commercial?
Yeah, he's going to commercial, and the interview will be coming right up. So that's what we're going to be heading to. We're going to be heading to that interview as soon as they get back off a commercial. So let's see, switch over to this right now, and then once the interview starts, then I'll put it on the full screen so you guys can see it and don't have to see our pretty little faces.
Yeah, they don't need to see us anyway.
Yeah. So we will be
off the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, we got to see these smiling faces here. What the hell was I looking for? Oh, I'm going to look for X. Where this is at.
What's the thing covering up the screen?
That is the commercial. That's the commercial is covering the commercial.
A commercial covering the commercial.
Yeah.
Well, that's annoying.
Yeah, I don't know why they would have that like that. Unless that dude's that I'm looking at doing that.
Somebody else is streaming it on YouTube. That's how we got it.
Yeah, let me see if it'll come off when I hit subscribe, so we'll find out. I don't know who this dude is.
It's probably just a thing he's got on.
Oops. Nope, it did not come back open. Okay.
He probably just has it in with the video. So just to get people to like his video and everything, it removes once the commercial's over.
Now I'm going back to live, and I'm hoping I can get this back up here. If I can find Hannity elsewhere. This is, nope, that's Jesse Waters. I'm going to try to find this here. That guy's blocking this. Nope, he's not there.
Isn't that to the top left?
That's the same guy. I don't know if that's going to. No, see, he blocked me. He blocked it.
Yeah, it might go away once commercial breaks over, though.
Oh, I hope so.
Because it wasn't up there before. Isn't that the same video you just had on when you were playing it?
Yeah, that's what I was. That was what I had off. So I'm hoping it goes away when the commercial goes over.
Yeah, it might. It's probably just to get people to subscribe to his channel. He just throws it up there in commercial, so that's all you see.
I hope he's not being an ass.
He would probably lose subscribers if he blocked the main event.
But I'm wondering why Hannity's not live himself. That's really odd. They elderly get crazy. It's called Sundowners. Yeah, that's for sure. One of my ex-girlfriend was a psychological nurse. Oh, okay. Well, so that's real then. Are you talking about a podcaster on here or Hannity? It was the podcast. This is the podcaster's site because Hannity's not streaming live tonight for some reason, and I don't know why. I haven't. Oh shit, he's on. He's on behind me.
Might be delayed.
Well, he better hurry the hell up, because I don't want to miss this interview. He's still talking about Biden anyways right now, so. Let me go back on my phone and see. What's that?
Email.
Yeah, it's not on my phone. There he is. All right, we're going back here with the volume.
Democratic Party, as calls for Joe Biden to drop out, are growing. Joining us now for an exclusive interview on the phone, former President Donald Trump. Mr. President, great to have you, sir. How are you?
Well, thank you very much, John. I'm fine. Thank you.
Let's go back to the debate with you and President Biden, because immediately you can notice his voice was raspy, but beyond that, within minutes, I could tell this was not going to be a good night for Joe Biden. What was going through your head at that time?
Well, it was a big evening, and you could feel a lot of energy. Boy, energy like you haven't felt in a long time. On any of the debates, I've done a lot of debates, and we've had great success with debates, but this was something very special. For whatever reason, it just seemed big. And when I got to Atlanta, and this was at CNN headquarters, there was a lot of excitement. There were trucks. I call them the $10 million trucks. That's with the antennas all over, and very incredible equipment. I'm looking at things that are, it's just more of a scene than it normally would be. And it really was that way right from the start, right from the moment they introduced us, and then they introduced him and introduced me, and I walked out and I saw him, and he looked extremely pale, to put it nicely. And I don't know, maybe it was a good makeup job or maybe it wasn't, but he was a very pale looking man. And when he started to speak, I don't know, I thought his voice was weak. I didn't know exactly what was happening. It was strange. I do have to say that the CNN, Jake and Dana, were really, they were pretty good. I thought they were fair. I thought they were fair in the questions. I thought to him, to me. But it was a strange evening. I will tell you, it was a strange debate because within a couple of minutes, the answers given by him they didn't make a lot of sense.
Well, let me ask you this. I think some of the worst moments for President Biden were when he wasn't talking. There was like this blank, vacant stare, and it's like he was checked out. And I've run a montage of it. When you were speaking and you'd look over, did you notice that too, or?
You know, I was thinking about what I was saying. I wasn't looking over at him almost at all, except when he went a little bit haywire. I didn't look at him at all. And I'm very disappointed in him. He's the worst president in the history of our country. We've never had anything like it. What he's done to our borders, what he's done to our country, inflation, the people that he's hurting. He's destroying Social Security. And people are, you know, I'm just so upset with him as president. And so I wasn't really looking over. I purposely wasn't. And I did take a couple of peeks when he was in the midst of giving some really bad answers. They weren't even answers. They were just words put together that had no meaning or sense. Well, but for the most part, I didn't really look over.
Since before the 2020 election, on radio and TV, I have chronicled the fact that Joe looked weak and frail and that he was a cognitive mess long before the election in 2020. The media, I call them state-run media, Democrats, they're all acting shocked, like this just came out of nowhere. Is this one incident, or is it, you know, is this something permanent? I'm like, did they not notice the guy can't give a press conference? Did they not notice that he doesn't use the big boy stairs getting on Air Force One? Did they not notice the plan to surround him as he walks to and from Marine One? That he wouldn't do a Super Bowl interview, a layup interview for any president, really. What part of his cognitive decline do you think they missed, or did they purposely cover for him, in your view?
Well, they cover for him, and they still are sort of covering, but now it's getting very difficult to do that. And, you know, it looks to me like he may very well stay in. He's got an ego, and he doesn't want to quit. He doesn't want to do that. It just looks to me like that's what he wants. I think Jill would like to see him stay. She's having a good time. I notice she really seems to be having a good time. And I'm hearing that Hunter is calling the shots. So this isn't necessarily a very positive thing for our country. But I think he, you know, might very well stay in. And if he does, nobody wants to give that up that way. He's going to feel badly about himself for a long time. It's hard to give it up that way, the way where they're trying to force him out. So, I mean, you really have to speak to his doctors. But obviously, he's been sheltered by the fake news media. That's why they call it the fake news.
Do you, Mr. President, do you want Joe Biden to step aside? Do you care?
Well, we prepared for him, but I don't think it's going to matter. We had a great 4 years. Our border was the strongest ever. Our economy pre-COVID was incredible, the best ever. But then when we got hit with the gift from China, the China virus, that came in, and we did a fantastic job, and we got it back where the stock market was actually higher to just prior to COVID coming in. So, I mean, we've done a job. The military, we defeated ISIS, took out the worst terrorists in the world and defeated ISIS. And that was a big thing. I was told it would take 5 years, and it took us a couple of months. The military is fantastic. By the way, the military is not woke. The people at top are woke, but the military is never going to be woke. Those are incredible people. What they did for me in the fight on ISIS. And then we had no wars. I mean, I had no wars. We're heading into World War III, in my opinion, with this man semi-running things, because he's not running things. The people that surround the Oval Office, the people that surround the Resolute desk, the beautiful Resolute desk, they're really running things in Washington, I suspect, and it's very bad. And, you know, he got them into the warfare and lawfare, many different terms you can use, but basically going after your political opponent, using the Justice Department, using local DAs, using local attorney generals, going after your political opponent. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. And, you know, there are those, I just read an article that it's been a positive for me, but it's not a positive. It's very unfair. It's fighting an unfair battle. But he's the one that got us into that. And all these lawsuits you see and everything else, that's all Biden inspired, meaning Biden people inspired. And it's very sad. I think it's a very sad time for our country. We're not respected anywhere in the world. He's not respected. And our country is in very serious trouble. And I'll tell you what, if we're not careful, we're going to be right in the middle of World War III. And that will be a war like nobody's seen before because of the weaponry. The weaponry is a whole lot different than two army tanks going up against each other. This is a whole different world. And we don't have somebody that can properly represent us. There's no question about that.
What do you make of all the talk that if Biden steps aside or is pushed out, that it would be Vice President Harris? Do you expect that much would change?
Well, I think that it will be her. I think they are very concerned about the vote. If it's not her, they are very, very, they're gun shy. They don't want to do it any other way. I've actually come to believe that's what they're going to do. I think she's an ineffective person. She was in charge of the border. She's never been there. She didn't do a good job, and she hasn't done a job on a lot of things. So he was in charge of the border. It would seem to me that from a political standpoint, she didn't do a good job. They're going with. They're not even talking about a lot of alternatives. And it seems that if he gets out for whatever reason, and I don't think he wants to get out, but if he gets out, it will be her. Interestingly, he's got a lot of power because he's got the delegates. You know, when you have the delegates, unless he says I'm getting out, they can't do anything to get him out other than the 25th Amendment. If they want to do it in a different route, it would be the 25th Amendment. But let's assume with not very much time left. You know, there's not much time left, and then we can straighten out our country. We'll make America great again, right? But there's not a lot of time left. But I think unless they use the 25th Amendment, which they'd use in a different sense, he has all the power. He has the delegates. He doesn't have to get out. There's nothing they can do to get him out. So he'll get the nomination. He got the nomination, and then they'll have their meeting in Chicago, which, by the way, last week, 117 people were shot and 17 people were killed. That was last weekend in Chicago. And that's like a war zone. But they have their convention in Chicago, and they're obviously very proud of Chicago. And I love Chicago. I have investments in Chicago. But when you look at the crime in Chicago, when you look at what's gone wrong with Chicago, it's not a very good thing to be displaying right now.
I still think every election is about the future. It's about peace and prosperity. In this case, it would be about the border. It will be about the economy, law and order, the green agenda, America's role in the world. The one issue that pops almost at the top of every poll in the minds of Americans, well, really two, the border and the economy. Let's start with the border. We have nearly 11 million unvetted Joe Biden illegal immigrants in this country from nearly 180 countries, but many from countries that have terror ties, countries like Iran and Syria, Egypt, Afghanistan, Venezuela, Kazakhstan, with nearly 60,000 from China in just the last 18 months, tens of thousands from Russia. And I worry that this is now a clear and present danger for the country, and that the likelihood that terror cells are probably already here is very high. I don't think I'm wrong. I pray to God that I'm wrong. I don't believe I am. And the media, Democrats, have ignored the issue, and they've allowed it to happen. And Biden and Kamala Harris and Mayorkas have all said the border's closed and the border's secure, but they brag about ending the policies that you had in place when they got into power. I think a preventable problem. I'm worried about our national security like never before.
Well, the one thing you haven't said tonight that you always say is that it's 100% certain that we're going to have a terror attack. And I agree with you on that. It's 100% certain. I mean, we're letting terrorists into our...
I pray I'm wrong. I pray
we're letting
God
terrorists
I'm wrong.
into our country at a level that we've never seen before. Terrorists are coming in. And they're coming in, Sean, from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're coming in from prisons and jails from all over the world, not just South America. They're coming in from the Congo and Africa. They're coming in from every part of the world. And some of these parts are rough parts of the world, and they're pouring into our country as prisoners, as mental patients. They're coming into our country, and they're coming in also as terrorists. And this is poisoning our country. And nobody should have been subjected to this. They should never have been allowed to do this. There's nothing good that can come of it. And we're going to have to get these criminals, and a lot of them are criminals, and very high level, very bad criminals. We're going to get them out. We're going to have the largest deportation in our history, larger than the Eisenhower deportation. And we have no choice. I don't want to do that. But this man has destroyed our country. And I say in rallies, I'm doing a big one tomorrow at Doral in Miami. I say at rallies that you could take the 10 worst presidents in the history of our country and put them together. They will not have done the destruction and damage as this man has done. He's been a horrible president, the worst president, frankly, the worst president in history by far. And by the way, Jimmy Carter's the happiest guy around, because Jimmy Carter now is saying, you know, I mean, he was like a genius compared to what Biden is. His administration was brilliant compared to the Biden administration. So it's a very, very sad time in our country.
Let me ask about the economy. I know that they said from the beginning that Biden's inflation, which they inherited 1.4%, it's up over 20%. 25% of Americans say that they've had to forego meals. 60+% of Americans said that they're gulping water because of Joe Biden's economic policies and Biden inflation. How do you fix that? And how quickly do you think you can fix that?
Well, we have to fix it fast. And what they're doing is the illegal migrants that are pouring into our countries, many of them are staying in luxury hotels all over our country. They're being shipped up. You know, as we say now, every state is a border state, whether it's Idaho or Iowa or Ohio. It doesn't make any difference. They're all border because they're pouring through our country. One of the stats that was incredible, I actually saw it on You First, was when they it came out that we're actually flying them in. So it's not just a question of these people coming through totally unchecked and unvetted. They're flying tens of thousands of people into our country, migrants. And many of these people were not people that were welcome to stay in their countries. They're coming up here. And when I originally said, I said, they are not sending their finest. These are people that are coming from other countries, Sean, where the president, whoever is running the country, including the dictators, they're sending them into our country. And if you look at Venezuela, their crime is down 72%. Their crime, think of it, down 72, and ours is up. And we're going to have a new form of crime because these people are just getting comfortable. They're just getting settled in. We're going to have a new form of crime, and it's called Biden migrant crime. And it's a new category. And it's a very serious category, and it might blow all of our crime out the window because, frankly, you could probably double. When I told you those numbers in Chicago with 17 people dying this weekend, think of it, over a weekend, over a 3-day period, 4-day period, you had over 100 people shot and 17 people dead. And that probably doesn't include the migrants, although I guarantee you there was some of that in there too. We have a new form. It's this new category, and it's going to be very, very serious for a long time to come. And we have to get them out of our country. We don't want them out. They drop them out of their jails and prisons. We don't want them in our country. It's not sustainable by any country.
You know, it's amazing when you came down that escalator in 2015 and you said some are very good people that want a better life, and then there are going to be bad people and there'll be murder and rape. It's unfolding. You know, look at Lake and Riley on down, and young girls being raped in broad daylight. This young girl in Texas that was killed, a mother of 5. Let me ask you one last question, if I may. And I know this was last minute. Thanks for calling in tonight. And I want to ask you about your VP choice. How soon do you think you'll be making that choice, number one? Number two, we keep reading that there is a short list, and on the short list, we hear names like Senator Rubio, Senator Tim Scott, Senator J.D. Vance, Governor Burgum. Are those reports accurate? Are there other people maybe people aren't paying attention to? And when do you think you'll announce that?
Well, you know, we started off with a lot of people. We have a lot of good people, as they call it. We have a great bench in the Republican Party. The names that you mentioned, absolutely, they're under consideration. And I haven't made final decision, but I have some ideas as to where we're going. And a little bit, we wanted to see what they're doing, to be honest, because, it might make a difference. I don't know. I'm not sure that it would, but there are those that say Trump's waiting until he finds out what's going to happen with crooked Joe Biden. And we'll see what happens with Biden. But, I think probably within the next week and a half, probably sometime. I'd love to do it during the convention. My people say that's a little complicated. In the old days, they would announce the vice president during the convention. Today, with modern day technology, you can't do things that you could have done 50 years ago very easily. But probably a little before the convention, but not much. It could even be during the convention that we'd do it. I'd love to do it during the convention. I think it would be a very interesting build-up and important for the convention. It would make it even more exciting. It's going to be amazing in Milwaukee.
If you announced it right now on this show, I think it would make a lot of news. I'm just saying.
Well, if I did it, I'd love to do it with you. But we'll be announcing soon, and I think everybody's going to be very, very happy. The choice will be very, very good. It's going to be a great vice president, meaning a person that can do a fantastic job as president, because you always have to think of that first. And then second, somebody that helps you get elected. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Mr. President, thank you for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you.
All right. And come.
You're muted, Charlie. Come on. Is this your first day?
Yes. What do you guys think?
That was a short-ass interview.
Yeah, because I don't even know what time he really got started.
Yeah, he just bought a bunch of viewers, I guess. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, well, Trump was throwing some clues out there. Somebody that helps him get elected.
Still unpopular. You remember what I said before about Tucker Carlson, how that would help him get elected. I'm not suggesting that's who he's going to pick, but
yeah, I mean,
he would definitely fall in that category. That would bring a lot of independents over. But
right, Lee. I'm voting for Trump no matter who it is. So
yeah,
I mean, you're gonna fuck when you pick Trump or you pick a president, because you got to take who he picks.
Yeah.
So that's look what happened to Biden. He picked a DEI hire, and look what he got. Holy shit!
And like I mentioned when we were on Gary's show or Jerry's show, you gave me the wrong name, by the way. You keep calling him Gary. He told me.
Is it Gary or Jerry?
It's Jerry.
Is it?
Yeah.
What do I keep calling him?
You kept calling him Gary. I thought that was his name. He said
well,
it's Jerry.
Shit. Sorry, Jerry. I thought it was Gary. And it's Jerry.
But anyway, when it was on Jerry's show, I got to get used to that now.
Yeah.
I said, of course, Trump's VP pick is incredibly important. Very important pick. We can't have another Mike Pence who's going to be gutless when it comes to votes in the Senate. But another one that I am very interested in that nobody is talking about is who is Trump going to pick for Attorney General? I've been saying for a while now, I want it to be either Mike Davis or General Flynn, because we have to have an Attorney General with some balls that will go after every single corrupt piece of human excrement that has committed treasonous acts against this nation. That has to happen. We can't have another Bill Barr.
Oh, hell no. That slimy piece of shit. He's like two faces as comes. And I just can't him. And short for Jared. Okay. Spells it differently. I'm used to Jerry. And I was calling him Gary and Jerry. Sorry. American Rebellion. That's easy for me to remember right there. So, I don't know. He keeps saying he can now. Well, he's only got 10 days, and that's why he's probably said in a few days he'll be making an announcement. And I don't know why if Hannity screwed him so bad, why he's talking so nice to Hannity. And
Yeah, I don't know either. I honestly don't know why. I mean, I know why he does it to an extent, but I don't know why Donald Trump even goes on Fox News anymore. Fox News is friggin' garbage. It really is. It's I mean, I know you have to get your word out as much as possible, but Sean Hannity's bought and paid for by the Murdoch apparatus. He's not going to say anything that's going to cost him his job. He's not going to report on stuff that might get him in trouble, like Tucker Carlson did, and like Jesse Waters is starting to do a little bit. He won't do that. That's just the fact. Hannity's bought and paid for by the apparatus. I don't care for him. He could be so much more than what he is, but he's too chicken shit to go against the Murdochs.
right. VIX just put up a GOP governor's massive appeal to Democrats could be trouble for Biden if picked as Trump's VP insider. That's an article, but I'm afraid to click on it so I don't get kicked out of Wimpkin. So I'm not going to click on that right now. Kurt said he's got to pick a VP who's going to be president in 2028. Exactly right. He's not going to pick some little weasel like Pence, little pansy ass bitch.
Yeah,
No way.
Yeah, it would never happen. But honestly, who I would like to see be his VP, this is just hypothetical. In a perfect world, I know it's not going to happen, but I'll explain why I would want this to happen. I would love to see him pick his son, Don Jr. And the reason is, God forbid, if something happens to President Trump,
another Trump goes in.
You know that Don Jr. is going to carry out the same policies. He's going to have the same drive that his father has to get stuff done. You know what I mean? There's not going to be any question. He would be the same. It would be pretty much the same thing, I believe. That's who I would love to see, because when picking a VP, you have to have somebody that can still carry out the policies that the president does in case something happens to the president.
Right.
There would be no question about that if it was Don Jr. And I think Don Jr. could be president. I think he would be a very successful president, like his father.
Right. And I believe
it won't happen, but that's,
I believe Billy Bob and Tammy answered your question as far as AG goes was General Flynn.
Yeah, I like, my top two are definitely Mike Davis and General Flynn. Those are definitely my top two picks, because I think that they would have the stones to go after the people that need to be held accountable, and we have to have a attorney general that would do that. And Larry Elder for what, Alfred? Is that for VP or attorney general? I do not trust Larry Elder. I wouldn't let him anywhere near the Trump administration, in my opinion.
Right, exactly.
I don't trust the guy. Something about him, just I don't trust him at all.
Yeah. Lee said he's playing it right. What's that? Finish that?
I said I think Larry Elder is a snake.
Oh yeah. Yep. Lee said he's playing it right, holding a VP pick till the last minute so they're not ready. That's exactly the smartest thing to do, because that dumb bitch Jill Biden was talking and saying that Trump was yelling and screaming and during the debate, and Biden couldn't get a word in edgewise, and it was Biden the one that was doing the yelling and the screaming, and Trump couldn't get a word in edgewise. And that's just go along with everything that's going on here. And I forgot to talk about that, and I'm mixing two things up at once, but there's just too many things that they want to try to get on Trump, and that's a good thing that Trump took it calm and relaxed, and he played that debate perfectly too, because he didn't get upset and worked up, and he's doing this right too with the VP pick, because the Democrats are shaking in their boots, not knowing who he's going to pick, and I love just seeing that.
Yeah, and that's why I think, because Trump has planned this out perfectly, he really has. I think Trump has known this entire time who his VP is going to be, and I think it's going to be somebody that nobody is talking about. I don't think it's going to be Ben Carson. I don't think it's going to be Doug Burgum. I don't think it's going to be JD Vance and the whole list. I don't think it's going to be Tulsi Gabbard, all the names that are being floated. I think it's going to be somebody that absolutely nobody is considering. That's what I think it's going to be.
That's possible. Tammy says he can't get his boy because of nepotism. So, and then that is a federal law. So, but Billy Bob said he has plans for Hannity, just another tool, and Trump is using him. Hey, more power to him. Use away, because if they want to talk shit on him, he should use them.
Yep, I agree.
Pat says Trump gives them enough rope then so they can hang themselves. Exactly right. Rhino Rana, GOP, yeah.
Vixen, you still got to vote even if Tulsi is the VP. Do you want to deal with this shit show another 4 years?
She says would not be that bad though. I mean, she's hit or miss.
Yeah, she said it's going to be Youngkin. I definitely don't think it's going to be Youngkin.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be Youngkin.
I don't think it's going to be Tulsi either. I'm telling you, I think it's going to be somebody that nobody is considering, and it's going to surprise everybody. It's who it's going to be, I don't know, but it's going to be a name that's not being floated out there if I had to guess.
That would be a good guess. Non-career politician. That's what they need, Tammy. Exactly. They need another one like Trump.
Yep.
You're not going to get another Trump, sorry. But you got to get somebody that's not a politician and not afraid to tell Democrats and all the other politicians to kiss my ass and do a job. And do a job that a vice president's supposed to do. Unlike this dumb twit that's in there right now that's supposed to be the border czar. And look what happened.
I agree 100% with picking a non-politician. That's why I have floated names like Tucker Carlson and even Don Jr. I mean, because some of the picks that are out there are bad names, but like picking a JD Vance and a Byron Donalds, those guys are more valuable where they're at now. I see somebody else put in here, Lee put it, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I wouldn't pull her from her governor's seat. I would keep her where she's at. I mean, I would pick an outsider for this if I was Trump. I would.
In their office. And we definitely don't need that to happen. Trump got played the first time. You're damn right. Pence is a little bitch, and he should have never been in there. If he flips the Democrat stronghold, he wins. You're right. You're right, Vix. He does need Virginia, and he needs Pennsylvania too.
Yeah, I still don't think it's gonna be Youngkin. I don't see that. I mean, he needs Virginia. That's for sure. Virginia is a big win, but I don't think picking Youngkin would necessarily help his chances anymore. I don't think that would have a big effect on him winning in Virginia.
Yeah, William, I'm not fond of Jim Jordan right now.
I'm not at all. Do not pick it. I wouldn't allow Jim Jordan anywhere near the administration. I think he's a snake too. I think he's working.
He's another one. Yeah, he's another one that didn't live up to what his mouth ran when he got the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. He was supposed to be all hardcore, dumb. We're going to get this shit done. And he didn't do anything.
Yeah, so, I'm just saying, I would not be. I mean, I would be. Let me think about how I want to phrase this. I really wish that a good MAGA Republican would challenge Jim Jordan, because I think that they would win easily. Jim Jordan has disappointed a lot of people in Ohio, I would imagine. But you can't allow the Democrats to take that seat, so that's why he keeps that seat. You know, if he had a legitimate challenger, a legitimate conservative challenger, he would lose in a heartbeat. Jordan is he's a typical Fox News tough talking Republican. You know, he lets his mouth run but doesn't put any action behind it. I mean, and that's a lot of the Republican Party and why we have the problems we do.
Oh, most definitely. And you're right, Pat. He had 2020 until it flipped overnight till they got all those mail-in ballots that just miraculously disappeared or appeared out of nowhere.
They all happen to be for Joe Biden. How about that?
Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah.
Miracle.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. And shit, there. Because we ran over, Dennis, is why I didn't. I have it in both the shows, and they will be in tomorrow and Wednesday. But Dennis is giving a Don't Get Dead segment, which I will put up this right now. Dennis says 98.6 is the single most important aspect of survival. You're more likely to starve in the winter and dehydrate in the summer, as your body usually significant and disproportionately uses significantly more energy and calories to keep warm than to cool down. That's why drinking cold water in the summer temporarily cools you off, but actually makes you warmer, as your body works as raising your core temperature up to 98.6. There's your Don't Get Dead tip of the day. And I do have it in there, Dennis, and but since we didn't do my actual show today, we'll do that for the next couple of days, because I'm going to show, like I said, today's show episode is going to be on Wednesday's show, and tomorrow I will stick with the Joe Biden getting run over by the bus. And I got a great old thumbnail. It's funny as hell. The Democrats are driving it, so we're good. And to the republic for which it stands, nowhere to stay in the democracy. Right, Jamal. Lee says, I believe Biden got 81 million votes, but I'll never, ever believe 81 million people voted for him. Yeah, exactly right, Lee. Lee said that. There ain't no way 81 million people voted for this idiot.
That was the whole argument that I made to people that were saying, oh, they did all these recounts and stuff and Biden still won. It's like, well, if you're counting the fraudulent ballots, of course it's going to come out that he won. That's not what we're disputing. We're disputing that the ballots were fraudulent. You could do a recount all day and night. It's going to come out the same number. That's not the argument we're making here.
Exactly.
People are idiots.
Alfred, you lost your career over this bullshit. How did you lose your career? Let us know about that. Sounds interesting. William, I was literally looking up the election map in 2019. Yeah?
Can't believe that damn interview went by that quick. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was definitely a quick interview, and I was hoping it was going to be live, and he would be on there too. Alfred, Alfred said we have the best government China can buy, and did.
Yeah,
exactly right. And people got to realize that too. They got to wake up and see that. Joe Biden is bought and sold, and now that his memory's shot, he believes that he probably was not bought and sold. Well, he was. Pennsylvania has now found the mass mail-in ballots is unconstitutional. Will they try it again? Oh, most definitely. Hell, they changed the rules. We've said this before. The day before the election, illegally, he did not get permission from their house, and they had to make a law.
Yeah, actually. They didn't get permission from the voters. We had to vote on that before they could even take it to Harrisburg to vote on. They didn't. Our governor at the time did it all himself. It was completely unconstitutional. Pennsylvania's electors should have been thrown out in 2020, but they weren't, because they needed Pennsylvania to drag Biden over the edge. Biden did not win Pennsylvania. I don't care what anyone says.
No.
Pennsylvania went for Trump. I am telling you. We are not in a blue state. We just happen to be controlled by Democrats because of the mass corruption in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh.
Oh, most definitely. Tell your story one day live broadcast on here on the AR show. I would like to see that. Alfred. You could come on here anytime and tell your story about how you lost your job and all that crap.
Yep.
the HR lady had said someone had feelings that I was going to do a mass shooting at work, but I never threatened anyone at work, and I have not owned a gun since 1987 either. Wow. Well, never heard the truckload of ballots from New York. There were so many ballots coming in every Democrat-run state.
Well, what about that story? What they're referring to there? That's something that nobody ever talks about anymore. Ballots from here in Pennsylvania
Ended up in New York.
ended up in New York. What in the
Right.
hell are they doing going to New York?
Exactly.
That makes no sense at all.
And they probably knew that. That's why they stopped counting ballots.
Yeah.
So,
What the hell are Pennsylvania ballots doing in New York?
well, it's just like my Sam's Club order didn't make it today. It went somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, and that's FedEx.
Yeah. It's the whole mail process. I mean, that's what I
Yes.
said. That's what I said before they even started this. I said, this is going to be a shit show. I mean, has nobody ever ordered anything and there's problems with the mail? How is this going to work with ballots? I mean, come on. Ridiculous. This had fraud written all over it from the start. Anyone with half a brain could have seen this coming.
Exactly. And Alfred said he was the first flight test jet engine mechanic for the MC-21-300 in Zovsky, 2017 in Siberia. Holy schmoly, Alfred. Biden didn't win anywhere, Pat said. You're right. Not legally, anyways.
Maybe DC. I might give him DC. Those people will vote for Democrat no matter who. So I might give him DC.
Yep. Christine Thorpe said California's electors, Pelosi's daughter, Farragut's daughter, Feinstein's granddaughter, more, no conflict of no interest. Exactly right. Always a conflict of interest there. They took the scenic route. They took a hell of a scenic route. That's right, Pat. The real reason I was fired from my career for supporting Trump. Okay, yeah, that's of course. That's any state given job.
Yep.
They don't give a shit about you as long as you do their bidding. That's like me got hurt. I'm a perfect example of the Democrats screwing over people because I was a Democrat when I got hurt at the prison, and they don't give a shit about you. They'll throw you under the bus faster than they're throwing Biden under the bus. And then it's no different. My mail hasn't come in over 2 weeks. Holy shit, Vic. That's pretty bad. I'm a test cell operator for Pratt in 10.5 years. Wow. Chase has problems with the postal service all the time. His outgoing mail magically disappears. Mail sucks. And now, if you guys buy postage stamps, I don't. My wife does. But they're like 63 cents or something like that now. They're going up to 73 cents now. And they just raised them in March. Now they're going up another 10 cents. So if you want to buy stamps, you better buy them now because they're going up another 10 cents come, I can't remember when they said. They changed the state headquarters and now no one is getting mail. Oh, that is crazy. Brendan, DC wouldn't count anyways because it's not a state, because they would try for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to change it over to a state, Billy Bob. And if the Democrats win, they will. And it's completely over for Republicans if they make DC and Puerto Rico states.
Yeah, and because they would pick up more seats at that point if they're states. And those are two areas that will always be Democrat control. I mean, honestly, DC is the one place that I really believe the numbers of the 2020 election. Biden won like by 92% or something, maybe even a little more. I think Trump got like 5 to 7%. Right. Those people vote Democrat no matter who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. And you got to remember a lot of the politicians voting as well. So Democrats would control that seat forever if DC ever became a state.
Yep, that's why we can't let this go, because there is so much going to happen, and it's going to happen very fast if the Democrats win in November. We cannot let that happen no matter what we can do. But yes, you guys are right. The United States Postal Service sucks, and what they're charging for their service is ridiculous, and they're always broke. it seems like every year, every time they go ask for money, they ask for millions and millions of more dollars, and they're always broke. They've got a mismanagement problem, and it needs to change. And hopefully, when Trump gets in there in November, he'll change that too, because our post office sucks.
It does. Absolutely does.
I always thought maybe UPS or FedEx should buy the mail service and just add it into their truck routes, because they've got trucks everywhere to go every street. Why wouldn't they buy it? Seems like they're pretty well managed. They seem to go pretty well. Not the best. I'm like, tonight I'm missing my stuff that was supposed to be here today. I don't know where the hell it's at. I was ambushed when speaking to the world introduction of the MCU 300s, Orlowski in December of 2015. Wow. We got to get you on here, Alfred, and have you tell your story. That would be pretty good. The post office is a good example of letting the government have control. Yeah.
Well, sorry to run, guys, but I got to jump off here. I'll see you guys. I'm not going to be on tomorrow. I have business I have to take care of, so I'll see you guys Wednesday.
Okay, so, see you later. Everything the left does is accomplishes the exact opposite of the state intent. Oh, that's exactly right. And that's exactly what they're doing now to us. When they tell you something, you know they're doing it. And it's money laundering. They've given them millions and billions of dollars to the Postal Service. And what happens? Nothing. They get screwed up. They lose mail. The mail looks like it's went through a freaking lawnmower before it gets to you. And the U.S. Postal Service used to be just like a state job, used to be the best jobs to get out there. But anymore, they suck. I sold $5 billion worth of airplanes. Wow, that's a lot of airplanes there, Alfred. But that is so true, that the post office is the most worthless thing out there. And there's nothing we can do about it. But guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to try to get up early. What's it? Paul Pelosi got $160 million in COVID. Yeah, I'd like to know what for. But I'm going to let you guys go tonight. Remember, if you're awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, if I'm awake, I'm not setting any set time for my waking up America thing in the morning. And I figured I was awake, working on the show for the day. I was actually working on tomorrow's show. And I just threw it up there and let people hear that cannot make it onto the tonight's show. Let them hear what I'm going to be going over. I don't go into depth with them or anything like that. Today was a half an hour show this morning. But if you're there, come on, join me. I'm just, I don't get in, like I said, I don't get into anything. I am going to mention about these cups because we did have a winner, Tammy LaPlante. I'm not sure if I'm saying your last name right. It could be LaPlante. But she won one of our cups from the question of the day or the question of the week. And she got it. If you look on my Wimpkin page, you'll see the picture of the cup she sent. And I've got plenty more, guys, and I want you all to win a cup. I just got a load of 50 more, plus I've got 9 more of these ones, and I want everybody to win a cup. And so you got to answer the question when it comes up during the week. You don't know what day it's going to be, but I want you guys to win a cup. So make sure you guys pay attention to when I ask the question, and it's going to be show related. So you have to watch the shows throughout the week to get the answer to the question. So please join me, guys. And I'm not going through my usual monologue because I'm going to save that for the other show. Like I said, tomorrow's show is going to be about Joe Biden getting run over by a bus and being thrown under the bus. And then I'll bring this show up for Wednesday's episode. So until then, guys, thank you for tuning in again. Thank you guys in chat. You guys are wonderful. It's awesome. So for throwing this show together because of Trump's interview was awesome. And I will see you guys either tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. So until then, guys, I'm Charlie. See you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.